So I've just found this camera angle that I kind of like, so I'm just going to drop a camera there. Okay, so as I said, yeah, the tornado will be moving towards us, not just the line. Excuse me. And you can, if you want, you can copy across these values to get exactly the same position as me. So we need to jump in here and start setting up a source for our agents, right? So let's bring in the geometry here, and I'm going to go to the top actually and drop a grid to get so that we can source our geometry from somewhere. Okay, and I'm just going to pull this over here and just kind of generally get a size which encompasses what we see. So a little bit behind the tornado so that at the beginning a few get sucked up, and then just a bit wider like this. Okay, so that should, that'll give us these. But we also want to, what I'm going to do is paint onto this, right? So I need more points to be able to paint onto this. So I'm just going to use a remesh. You could use a subdivide or whatever you need. I'm just going to turn the lighting off so I can see this a bit better. And then if we drop an attribute paint, okay, grab that and then jump into our attributes and change this to density. So now wherever we paint, I press enter, it should work. There we go. And I should be able to paint on this, I hope. There we go. It's just very small. Okay, so there you can see if you scroll, middle mouse scroll to change the size of your brush. Okay, and then you can just paint this density attribute. So now if we paint that and then jump into our geometry spreadsheet, we should see density there, the values from 0 to 1. Okay. So back in here, jump back into the tool, and yeah, I'm just going to kind of paint some random splotches around. Let's get rid of that. And then, but yeah, obviously we'll use that density attribute to source our agents. Okay, something. Actually, I think I will try not to paint on the curbs because the agents won't be kind of in the right position. They'll be below the. I'm lost. They'll be below this level, right? We could do something about it, but it doesn't matter really. It won't be noticeable. So I'm just going to paint kind of these random splotches, as I said. From here, a couple going this way maybe. Maybe you could leave a big gap. Where's the cameras there? One there. Okay, something like that. I don't know, you can take your time to middle mouse click, by the way, to remove what you've just done, and left click to add. Right, so we use that density, and that should work straight off here. It's loading pretty slow, so yeah, that's because we've got too many agents there. So what I'm going to do is turn off this. If we go into the setup, turn on match number of agents. So that's the same as in a scatter, you've got a limited total number, right? So let's push this to, I don't know, like a few hundred, I would say. Let's do like 300, something like that. Obviously they're way too big at the moment, so we'll bring the scale down in a minute. Also the normals, right? So we want them pointing obviously away from the tornado, but what I want is also some of them kind of pointing in towards these streets here. So what we need normals to start with. on the geometry, but on the points. Okay, then we can visualize them like that. And what I can use is a comb, which literally combs the normals, so you can paint them onto it, right? Which is pretty cool. So very similar to the attribute paint, but here we're directing the direction of the normals, and you'll see the visualization. You can see the normals have gone weird there because they've turned black there, right? But that doesn't matter because we're only interested in, you know, we're not going to be rendering it. So I'm just kind of pointing them all away from the, maybe I think to start, I'll just do one big line away from the tornado. Okay, because that's the general direction they'll be going. And then maybe a few go in that way, but I think it doesn't matter. These will all get sucked up straight away. And then I'll do some kind of shoots coming off like that, right? Oops. So again, it's just left button click and paint your normals in. Right, so any agents that are here will be pointing in this direction. Great. Okay, and then if we visualize that, and if we get rid of the initial velocity and heading, yeah, you can see that they are following already those normals, which is great. So let's sort out that scale first of all, because it's kind of annoying. So we'll bring them down to 0.5. Okay. Looks okay. Maybe I'll change this randomness because there's a bit too much there now. Maybe 2. That looks okay. Great. And what else do we want to do? We can leave the layers. The states, obviously. Yeah, we don't want them in T-pose. So we need to randomize the initial state. And we've got, so the runs, first of all, we've got run 01. Let's delete all of these first. We got run 01, run 02, run 03, and run 04. And then we've also got the other runs, the kind of strange ones, yeah. We've got run arms up, got run injured, and what else? And we've also got run tired. And as I said before, I want a lot less of these ones. So I'm just going to set everything to 1 first of all, and then drop these down quite a bit to 0.1 for each of these. Okay, there we go, getting something much better now. You can turn on the volcano, the tornado, just to get a sense of what we're seeing here. There we go. Okay, so you get a sense of this now. So we're going to have all the agents running towards us, some going in there, and then in the background we see them getting sucked up into the tornado as it comes closer to us. So I think that's pretty much it for our crowd source. Initial states doesn't matter. We've got a randomized color. Obviously, we're not bothered with that. So I think we're ready to maybe set up the DOPNet next.